Do you trust every little thing that happens on your mobile device? Well, if you do, then this video is probably not for you. Or maybe it is. Because, maybe there are some concerns that you have regarding privacy on your mobile device. More specifically, privacy concerning your WhatsApp messaging service. And speaking of WhatsApp, what is up with WhatsApp? Stick around and let's break down the dealio regarding a privacy policy update that WhatsApp recently made. Now cue that intro music, boy! What is up, folks? Welcome to another installment of TP Check Your Tech. Now, if you are into all things smart and you are into all things tech, then boys and girls, it's really simple. All you gotta do is tick that subscribe button, ding that bell, and YouTube will be personally able to notify you every single time I drop a new video. So a couple of weeks ago, WhatsApp recently put out an update that there will be an update to their privacy policy. And this sent the whole cyber world into a whirlspin with questions, concerns, and rumors flying all over the place. Now, while all of this was going on, WhatsApp released a answering all your questions about WhatsApp's privacy policy on their website. And they said, to be clear, the policy update does not affect the privacy of your messages with friends or family in any way. The changes are related to optional business features on WhatsApp and provides further transparency about how we collect and use data. But of course, this still didn't put a lot of people at ease. And I think it's partly because 2020 put a lot of us in paranoid mode. Or maybe that's just me. I don't know. But all of this got me thinking. How many of us who have been using WhatsApp all this time actually understand how WhatsApp works? Because in order to understand what WhatsApp have done with the new privacy policy update, you actually have to know how it works. But okay, if you already know, consider this a refresher course. WhatsApp is a popular end-to-end encrypted messaging service with currently over 2 billion users and rising. WhatsApp have always maintained that they cannot read or listen to any of your messages. So both your calls and your messages are protected by this end-to-end encryption stuff. But please, bear with me while I try to explain to you what this end-to-end encryption business is all about. You see, the business of encrypting and decrypting messages sent on your WhatsApp occurs only on your mobile device. Because messages sent between you and your recipient are secured by a cryptographic lock. And only your chosen recipient has the keys to that lock. You see, it's like this. What happens between homies stays between homies. Until, of course, you decide to go running your mouth and telling everybody my business. Of course, you could just hit the forward button, and that's basically just the same as ratting me out. But I digress. Let's get back to the subject at hand. So WhatsApp states that these keys change with every message that is sent, and all of this is busy going down in the background. But here's something cool. You can verify the validity of your chat security by verifying the security code on your device. Let me break this down for you even further. You see, once you install WhatsApp on your mobile device and you, as the user, send a message to another user, hopefully someone you can trust, An encrypted session will be established. Then you won't need to do all of that all over again. Unless, of course, your phone gets stolen, then you have to buy a new mobile device, reinstall WhatsApp all over again. Shout out to the pickpockets. You guys are playing a vital role in this WhatsApp traffic. We salute you. And speaking of traffic, let's bring in a new character into the story, the WhatsApp server. And what this server does is basically control all the traffic between you and your recipient. So long story short, the WhatsApp server is the one that issues keys to you and your recipient. We need that WhatsApp server in order to, successfully reach your honey on the other side. But remember, it's not the WhatsApp server's fault if your honey tells all her people all the awkward things about you. Why? Like I said already, the keys used in your chats are either temporary or they are always changing. They are unique to your WhatsApp and to your recipient, including your group chats. In fact, group chat keys are always changing every single time you add a new member. Then they change again when you decide to kick her out because, I don't know, maybe she was too busy blowing up your phone with too many silly chain messages. Unless, of course, you like those chain messages, then in that case, my bad. And the same applies with your status updates. You got someone checking out your status updates that you don't like? Delete them, block them, or maybe even enable the setting that prohibits them from seeing your status updates. One thing for sure is this: you have unique keys that will change once you decide whatever it is that you are thinking regarding those annoying contacts. And this ensures that whatever you do decide actually gets enforced. And speaking of status updates, did you see that WhatsApp now uses status updates to address privacy concerns? Yeah, I woke up one morning and I noticed that WhatsApp was now using status updates. I was like, what? Oh snap! Because WhatsApp definitely annoyed a lot of people, and I'm certain you were one of them. So they're trying their best, trying to cool down the tempers of all these people that just rubbed up the wrong way in the past couple of weeks. Shame. You gotta give it up to WhatsApp. Now let's really get to the meat of this issue, which is really the whole point of this video. What's up with WhatsApp? And what did they really do to annoy so many people? Over the past couple of years, more and more people have found that it is easier for them to communicate with certain businesses via WhatsApp. So WhatsApp have decided that they're going to make it even more easier for people to chat and communicate with businesses who may be using Facebook business products. And in order to respond to customers, WhatsApp states that some businesses need secure hosting services that Facebook plans to offer. When a business uses this service, they will clearly label the chat so that you will decide whether or not you are going to continue to communicate with that business. Quick side note, but it's very relevant to the topic at hand. So, I'm big on Spotify. I basically stream almost 100% of all of my music. I remember a couple of moons ago, I was on my mobile device, scrolling through my Instagram timeline, basically just minding everybody's business. Out of nowhere, a recommended playlist popped up on my timeline. And like a typical Instagram video, it was about 30 seconds, I think. So after I was impressed with what I heard, I decided to follow the link. I then had two options on top of the other options that I wasn't really so concerned about as to how I was going to proceed, with said link. I had the option of either streaming the playlist via my Apple account or via my Spotify. Naturally, I chose Spotify. And of course, I was seriously impressed with the playlist. Like, I enjoyed it thoroughly. It didn't take me long to figure out that my Instagram and my Spotify were in cahoots because I really enjoyed this playlist. And this has happened quite a few more times since then. So what's my point? These apps, services, accounts, talking to each other is nothing new. And that, in a sense, is what WhatsApp have gone and done with this new privacy policy update. They announced something that has been going on, and I cannot prove that WhatsApp are actually guilty of it too. But maybe some of you guys out there have had similar experiences where WhatsApp and Facebook were colluding with each other and talking to each other on your behalf without your consent. Let me indulge your curiosity if you didn't already know. Businesses who have shops on Facebook and Instagram can also have shops on WhatsApp, giving you the option to shop straight from your WhatsApp. But once again, on their website, they state that they will let you know in WhatsApp how data is being shared with Facebook. Now, at this point in time, there might be a few of you who are nut jobs and you see absolutely nothing wrong with this new update, while the rest of you are upset. And you've been upset ever since you got the news. Whichever group you fall under, let me explain the privacy process to you again because it really still applies. Yes, the ever so popular end-to-end encryption process. Whatever you discuss with these businesses remains private. WhatsApp cannot listen or read your messages. They are encrypted, riddled with keys that are unique to you and your intended recipient. Now, where the fine print,
sign here and give your soul away,
resides in what those businesses can decide to do with your data. And this is where WhatsApp basically bows out and lets you know that, hey, from here on in, you are on your own. According to the information given in a detailed, extremely detailed WhatsApp encryption overview document, some organizations may use the WhatsApp Business API, which is basically an application that can be deployed as a WhatsApp endpoint on a server. This Business API allows those organizations to programmatically send and receive messages. However, and I must bring this to your attention, if those businesses choose a third party to manage their endpoint, WhatsApp no longer consider these messages as end-to-end encrypted. In a nutshell, what you need to know from here on is this. In 2021, certain organizations who use this Business API will be able to designate WhatsApp's parent company, Facebook, as the vendor that operates the Business API endpoint on their behalf. And what all of this means is that it is basically your responsibility to scrutinize and go investigate every single privacy policy of the businesses that you communicate with via WhatsApp. Whatever these businesses decide to do with your data is fair game. So make it your business to know what these businesses are doing with your data. Because trust me, and I'm not saying that this will happen, but I imagine that it is a possible scenario in the future. You do not want to get a call from an agent trying to shove stupid products down your throat. Speaking of stupid products, what's the most ridiculous thing anyone has tried to sell you over the phone? Comment down below and let me know. So what do I think of all of this? Are people justified in their anger? Well, I think yes and no. Let me explain. Point number one, and like I already said, these applications and these services communicating with each other is nothing new under the sun. They've been doing this. And personally, I saw this coming the day it was announced that Facebook had taken over ownership of WhatsApp. Point number two, We live in a digital age. You have to be cautious and mindful of what you put out there. Keep it old school and share things in person. As long as you maintain social distancing, of course. Or better yet, keep things to yourself if you don't want things to possibly end up on the World Wide Web. And if that's not possible, go in with your eyes wide open, which brings me to my third point. Do your research. Do your best to familiarize yourself with all the back-end jargon so that you won't be blindsided by anyone, including WhatsApp. Because they want your data. And I imagine they're all probably sitting in dodgy backroom boardrooms plotting on how to take you out. Who am I kidding, man? This is not a conspiracy channel. Let's keep it moving. Let's focus. But if you really feel like all of this is just too much for you, get rid of your phone and live like we're back in the Stone Ages. Or just simply get rid of WhatsApp and replace it with something else. With that being said, in the description box down below, I'm going to leave a link to an article I found stating the 5 best alternatives to WhatsApp. I'm not all that familiar with every single one of them, but I believe that it's worth looking into. But guys, basically that's it for me. It's a wrap. Let me leave you with this. Stay teched out and God bless. And remember, you cannot trust everybody on these WhatsApp streets, bruh.